So now it should be fine. We can create the object right now. So let's try to create an object just for fun. Let's see, just put it under here, YouTuber. Just let's include example student, and let's declare it example student. Let's call it Jane equal null. Jane equal, we need to use GObjects dot new and example. So we have to tell like what type of object we want to create. Example tab student, and no, we don't want to add anything. So it should be fine now, but in order to prove that it is created, I want to put here gprint example student init is called. Okay, and in here gonna do gprint example student class init is called. So we will see that the class init will be called first, and then the student init is called. Okay, so let's clear the screen, and what we can do, just call ninja again, and we can see we get one more warning because Jane is created but we never use, so it is expected. But let's run the student. We can see that we can create that object, but it's not fun just do this. Let's create, let's add some property for our student object. So to create a property, let me call it is a pointer to name, and in let's just name first. We'll do it later on. We will keep adding the property so it's easy to understand. So in order to do that, what we need to do, I'm gonna create enum call prop 0 and prop name. Let's call it last prop. Okay, so we good here, and let's set up a example class object first. So we need to create set and get object. So let's create it here. Create static void set property and static void set get property. So that's all we need for now. I'm going to set it up in here. Let's first we need to cast the class object to the object class. So G object class, it's the object class equal G object class. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to set up the set and get property. So object class set property equal set property object class get property. So when we create an object, it calls this function and it set up this function pointer point to the set property and get property to the get property. So now what we can do is so it's gonna get G object and G and sign in prop ID and G value but here is the set, so this one it will be constant, and G param spec. Okay, so we're going to use this last property, this name property, to set this up. First we need to cast the object to example student object first. So example student self equal example student object. So now we cast it to that, so we're gonna use switch prop ID case prop name break self, that's name, equal G value get string, so it take value. We need to check first if self dot name, no, we just G string compare 0, self, that's name, and G value get string value. So if we compare not equal to 0, it means it's not equal each other. We can do this. Let me put it in here. Let me put this so. Okay, so let me put it in here. Okay, so if it's not equal, we need to freeze the first one first. So G freeze self name, and then we set it equal here, but here is the constant, so we need to copy it here. We need to do G string duplicate now we get set property. Okay, next we're gonna do get property. So here I'm gonna copy the same because it take the same arguments. So I'm gonna paste it in here. The difference is here is gonna be that's not constant, and here I can copy it here too. Just copy and paste it here. So here the same thing, we're gonna cast this to student object, and then we check if it's the same property name, but we don't need to check this. We can just do delete this. Okay, so we want to use the let me see, we want to use G value dot get string. We want to get this get, but we're going to use set. So we want to use set. So it's going to take value and then self name. Let me delete this one. So next we need to install the property for that class. So before doing that, let me create static G param spec. Gonna create a property. It's last prop. So now we have the property array. We want to install it. So the way we install it in the class is, let me remove this line. We use GObject class install properties. So it will take object class, so object class, and the number of parameters. So I'm gonna use the last prop, and we use the G param spec. We're gonna use properties. So now it's good, we can install, but we haven't defined our properties yet. So let me define it here. Property, we define it for property name. So it's gonna be property name, this is the n. So integer, we use G param spec int. So it will take, let me do this, it's easier. Let me just do it here. Let me go to that definition. So it need this. Too many, I don't remember it, so I just copy it and we come back here, paste it here. So let's just put this on the new line and just put this on new line too. It's easy. So the first one is name. We wanna call it the name of this one is name. It's the same, and this one, let me put this so it look easy to see. I'm gonna put it comma, and let's do it Control K and F. Just format it nicely. So this is the nickname. It's not important, but it needed. I'm gonna call it name too. And this one constant blurb name, we just call it student name. And oh, this is it's not string, I'm sorry. We're gonna need the string because it's tab string. So let's go back. I'm sorry. Let's go to the definition. So just copy this one. Copy the wrong one. Actually, we just need this. Just need default value, and we just need from here. So just paste in. So default value, just call it Mr. Student. Mr. A. Let's call it Mr. A. And G flag. The same thing. I don't remember what parameter they have. Just go to its definition. And here I'm going to choose read write. So just copy and put it here. Paste. Okay, let me clean this up. Okay, it should be good now. Oh, what is this? G param. Okay. So now we have everything set up. So let's see it in main. So if we can set the name for the Jane and get it back. So GObject set, we're gonna pass in Jane, and we want to call set name, and the name we want to say Jane and null. So we want to get it back. So in order to get it back, we need a variable character name. Let me put it equal to null, and we use GObject get Jane name and passed in name. We want to pass in. Okay, and now we can print it out. Let's see, gprint my name is name. Okay, let's see, we can compile it and run it. Everything look fine. I think it should work. Let me clear the screen. Let me call Ninja. Okay, we only have some complaint, the same complaint that we don't use it, but everything should work. Let me clear the screen and run student. So we can see that we create an object, we set object property, and we get the object property back. So we successfully create this, and later on it's the same thing. If you want to add more property to student, you just add it here. Let's say student ID in student ID, or just call it ID. So if you create it here, you need to call another one, property ID, prop ID, and here all we need to set up is here. We need to set in here. Let's call it case prop ID. Okay, we need to set self ID equal G string duplicate. We're not gonna duplicate that. We just want G value get end. So this one gonna be value. Okay, and the same thing for get. We need to put it in here. Case prop ID. Did I put break here or no? Oh, I need break here. Okay, so here we gonna say G value set end value self ID. One more thing that we need to define is in here. So we need to define our property prop ID. So same thing, it's gonna be G param spec in. So this time we're gonna use the in, and here I'm gonna call it name. Nah, why I call it name? It should be ID. ID and student ID, and it should be minimum, not just do 0, and maximum just do 1000. And the default value just do 0. So now it should be fine. Everything good. So if we compile, that should work. Clear Ninja. Okay. So it's compiled, let's run. Let's try to run student again. It works. So I think that's it for this video. It's too long already. So next time I want to add signal. Yeah, we can add signal to our object, so other object can subscribe to this object.